Hello everybody, today we are going to be changing a door hinge on a 2005 Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's going to be the driver's lower. A couple of points here. The 2005 hinge looks like this. That was the only year they looked like this, and then they changed to this, 2006 to 2010. So if you're looking for the actual 2005 one that looks like this, you won't be able to find it's discontinued, and you'll have to get this hinge. Another, what happened was this one would no longer have a stop where the door, hold the door open, it would just slam on you when you opened it. Another thing to point out is that there is a spacer nut on the bottom here, which the new hinge does not come with. So you'll need to be able to take this off of the old one to use on the new one. One other thing too, I need to make sure you're aware of that when you install the new one, make sure that it's in the open position, not the closed position, because once you bolt it in, you will not be able to move it. I had to put it in a vise to be able to click it all the way open. See, this would be in the closed position now. However, I went to a junkyard and got one out of an 05 because it was the identical hinge, and I believe it would line up better than the replacement one. So as you can see here, the rear door hinges are exactly the same as the front door hinges. So I went and got the rear door lower off of the back seat, or the back door, because it's used a lot less and it's much easier to get to and remove. Plus the part at the junkyard was probably $20 versus probably $60 or $70 for the new part. Also, you're going to need a jack or some piece of wood or something to hold the door up. I've got this 4x4 I cut, and it's about, you can see it's probably 3 inches higher than the bottom of the door now, and that's about the most you're going to be able to lift it. It's just real easy to put it up and set it up on the wood. You're also going to need a 13 millimeter 1/4 inch wrench, and then I've got a flat wrench that's a ratcheting wrench, which is much helpful also. So what you'll do when you get started, you got your door open, and take a Sharpie or some instrument and mark where the old hinge is on the door itself. Then make sure you mark the hinge that's on the Jeep body, because this will be real important when you're trying to line this up with the new hinge. Remember, the hinge needs to be in the full open position when you put the new one in. So the first thing you're going to do is remove these two bolts. Do you notice see the spacer on the bottom here? That needs to be there, otherwise this nut won't tighten all the way up. Take both of these nuts off, and when you do so, come to the back of the door and lift it up and set it up on this wood or your jack. And so what that will do, as you can see at this point, it's very difficult to get your hand in here. There's no clearance really to get in to get these nuts off. So when you lift the door, it's going to give you a couple inches, and it'll be a lot easier to pull the 3 13 millimeter bolts out. They're 3 in a triangle pattern. I had some difficulty with the ratchet, so I used the wrench on the front one to get it off. So once you get all 3 of those off, the door's open and on the wood, you can just slide out the old hinge. When you slide in the new hinge, you can come around here, get your hand in and get the bolt started and tighten them up, and line this new hinge in exactly on the spot where the old hinge was, and tighten it all the way down. Don't leave it loose, tighten it all the way down, because once you bolt these back up, you won't have your hand clearance to get in here to tighten them down. So tighten these down on the line that you marked, and then drop the door down and tighten these up, and then check it and see where it goes. And at that point, the first time I did it, I shut the door, but you can see there's a small mark here where this door was hitting the front fender. It was clipping it just a little bit right there. So what I had to do then, go back in and start all over. Had to loosen these again, put it back up on the wood, loosen these, and then move the hinge forward this way a little bit. And then crank it back down, tighten it down, let the door down, tighten these down, and see where it goes. If it's hitting too far in the back, then you'll have to push it back a little bit. And that's why these lines are so important where you mark, because it gives you a good frame of reference of where the hinge is located. This probably took me maybe 30 minutes to do and to figure out, so hopefully this might help you. And if you get some questions, don't hesitate to contact me. Thanks.